Recently, I conducted a poll on my channel asking you, the viewers, which game console you wanted me to do a collection video on next. And it was made clear after 27 votes that you guys wanted to see my Wii Game Collection. So that's what I'm here to bring you today. The Wii was actually the very first game system I ever played on, going back to 2008 if I remember correctly. Many of the games that you will see in this video are some of the very first I was able to call my own. So without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off at the top, we have Wii Play. This one I got for $3 at a thrift store, factory sealed. Unfortunately, it didn't come with the Wii remote. I wouldn't have bought it otherwise, but for $3 I figured why not. Then we have WarioWare Smooth Moves. If I remember correctly, I think I got this one used at Future Shop, which for the uninitiated was a Canadian electronics store that was eventually merged with Best Buy. Then we have Super Paper Mario. If I remember correctly, I think this might have been the first Paper Mario game that I played, and maybe even the first RPG that I ever played, which is pretty huge considering I'm a big RPG guy these days. I don't find it nearly as good as either one of its predecessors, but it's not a bad game. Then we have Mario Strikers Charged. This is a sequel to Super Mario Strikers for the Nintendo GameCube. And then we have a really big one here, Super Mario Galaxy. I will confess that the reason I got this game initially was so that I could unlock Rosalina in Mario Kart Wii, because you could do so if you happen to have a save file of this game. But then I actually got around to playing it, and ever since then it's been one of my top 5 games of all time. Then we have Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Yes, the game that started it all, and this one took place at the Beijing 2008 Games. Then we have Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I remember in 5th grade, when we were doing show and tell, this one guy brought in a video of him playing this game, and I thought it looked really cool. It was the very first Super Smash Bros. Game I ever played, as well as the first fighting game, and I love the Subspace Emissary mode. Then we have Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World. I've heard that this game isn't quite as good as its predecessor, but because of how much I enjoyed Tales of Symphonia so far, I figured I might as well give it a go, though unfortunately I haven't had the opportunity to really sit down and play it lately. Then we have Mario Super Sluggers, a sequel to Mario Baseball Superstars for the GameCube. And then we have Wario Land Shake It. I actually remember getting another copy of this game years ago, but I was only able to play the first few levels before the disc just stopped working. I brought it back to the game store that I bought it from, and they said that they could either resurface the disc or allow me to exchange it for something else, so I exchanged it for a game on the GameCube. I did eventually get this copy for Christmas last year, though. But if you thought that was all for my collection, then you're in for a treat because I still have several more to go through here. So let's take a look at this second pile that I have. Firstly, we have Mario Power Tennis. This one is actually a port of the game for the GameCube, and I've heard that people don't really like this version as much because it forces you to use the Wii remote rather than letting you use the GameCube. And I've got to agree that it was kind of a weird choice to not let you at least use the GameCube controller. But other than that, I've played it before and it's a fine game. I still prefer Mario Tennis on the N64 though. Then we have New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This one definitely stands out right away because it has a red case. Something that wouldn't really become prevalent with home console Mario games until the Wii U, when some of these games would get re-released. Then we have Super Mario Galaxy 2. With the amount of times that I rented this game from the library, had there been an actual rental fee, I probably would have been able to buy this game twice over. And the reason it took me so long to getting around to buying this game was because it was $60. So I spent a few months trying to save up the money, and I was eventually able to get it. only for it to go on sale for Black Friday a few months later for $35, and it stayed at $35. Yes, I am still very bitter about that, but hey, the game is pretty fun, although I still prefer the original over this one. Then we have Xenoblade Chronicles. I would have gotten this one for the Nintendo Switch, but it turns out that getting physical copies of the Switch version is very hard to do, so I ended up just having to settle with this Wii copy, which was actually still sealed, though it was the reissue and it doesn't have the manual, unfortunately. Because apparently when Nintendo reissued Wii games, they decided to instead include a website where you could go to find a digital version of the manual. I'm an RPG guy, like I said before, but this game just isn't quite my cup of tea. Then we have Kirby's Epic Yarn. This game is infamous in that you can't die in this game, if I remember correctly. I have played it a few times over the years, and it's an interesting game. Definitely a really cute visual style, though. Then we have Donkey Kong Country Returns. This was the very first Donkey Kong Country game that I played, though I would eventually get the other 3 games on the Super Nintendo, as well as Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. Then we have Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. This was another one that I frequently borrowed from my local library, and if I remember correctly, there were a few times where I'd end up getting this game because Super Mario Galaxy 2 wasn't in at that point, though I would eventually pick up this copy. I believe I got it used from EB Games, which is now known as GameStop. Then we have Mario Sports Mix, which if you didn't see my top 10 Mario games video, I mentioned how this is my favorite Mario sports game, and in fact it's my favorite sports game in general. You can play basketball, hockey, dodgeball, and volleyball. My personal favorite is basketball, even though I'm not good at any of these sports in real life. Then we have Fortune Street. This is a bit of an odd one. It's essentially Monopoly, but with Dragon Quest characters, and in this case you also have Mario characters. It's actually a part of a long-running series, which I believe is called Idakai Street, or something like that, though this is the only game in that series that has actually been released outside Japan. The rest are unfortunately Japan exclusives. And finally, we have Mario Party 9. This was the very first Mario Party game I ever played, and it was also another one that I frequently rented from the library. So yeah, that's my entire collection of Wii games, 20 games in all. So yeah, the next video, according to the poll results, will be the GameCube video, so do stay tuned for that. Just as one final aside, if you're wondering why I didn't include the Wii Sports games or Mario Kart Wii in this video, it's because technically those games belong to my family, not to me, which is why they're not a part of my personal collection. But yes, I do indeed have those games. Hopefully that'll stop at least a few of you from commenting asking where those games are in the comments section. But yeah, that'll be it for now.